What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Sunday edition of the MLB Smoke Shop, where we hit 2-1 last week. Had a push as well on one of the first 5 inning money line games. I'm Gloeck, that's Tek, and we're here to bring you the money. Tek, man, I can't wait to talk with you for the next 30 or some odd minutes about this great MLB card, man. It's stacked and packed.
Yeah, I'm ready. And I think I'm excited to see these Sundays coming in with heavy slates. And I don't know what it is. I feel like Sundays and Mondays were pretty quiet before, but this year they seem to be pretty busy. And hey, look, you and I did great last Sunday. So let's start a trend. Let's just start a trend and give the people what they need, some heat on a Sunday afternoon for some baseball, man.
Yeah, and if you're talking heat, and you're up here in the Northeast like us, right near Philadelphia region, it's hot today. So, yeah, sit back, sit inside, enjoy some good baseball, and let's collect a few bucks while we're at it. Let's start off with my first one. Tek, yesterday I gave it out. I hit another on the betting for breakfast. I like these full game numbers. I had the Red Sox yesterday. I needed an epic comeback, down 5-0 early. But, hey, win's a win. That's all that matters. We're going to go back to the drawing board again, using the same kind of formula. I went against Chris Flexen yesterday. The guy just lets up a ton of home runs, and Devers ended up hitting 2 off him. But today I'm looking at a game in the Cleveland Guardians versus the Detroit Tigers, and more I'm attacking the lack of the power from the Detroit Tigers. Shane Bieber's on the mound today. We're getting a number here. I'm looking most recent from DraftKings is -190, so a little stacked, but if you go first 5, it's -185. So I'm actually going to push this one out for the full game here. And let's just think of Bieber. He's had one bad start this year. That's it, and it was against the Blue Jays. Take that away, and he's sitting at a 2.29 ERA, looking similar to his Cy Young form, 36 Ks in 35 innings. He faced the Tigers twice last season. Both games he threw 12 Ks. Just 13 innings, a 7-inning, 6-inning outer, 24 Ks over 13 innings. He likes this team. He sees this team. He dominates this team. And then the Tigers themselves, 30th in WRC+, 30th in isolated power, 30th in home runs. Do I need to keep going? This team doesn't scare anyone. It's not going to scare Bieber from attacking. I like the Guardians a lot today. I think Shane, continues his trend upward. His FIP is better than his ERA. And, when we look at that, we know the expected outcomes are better than what he's been pitching at.
That's true. I like it. Hey, look, I had a limited scope coming into today. I looked at a couple games only. And as I'm sitting here, as you're bringing this up, I'm just sitting here getting excited about it because you start off saying Detroit just doesn't have that power. So I had to flip over and look 6.2% barrel rate as a team. So you said it. I see it. It's low, which that's down in the, let's put it this way. 5.6% is the worst in the league. So they're 0.8 off. They're about top, maybe lowest 7 or 8 in the team when it comes to that in the league. And how about this? When it comes to also this power talk, I would think this is an error, but I know it's not. 0.094 on the ISO as a team, Detroit. Not cool. That just defies it there. You're just not going to get what you want out of them consistently, right? You'll get your days where they'll do what they need to do. But and then as a team striking out 24%, which anything above 20 is good for strike, it's bad. So let me make this clear. When you're above 20% as a team, you're striking out more than you would hope to. When you're at 24%, you're top 5th in the league at strikeouts. Okay. Atlanta's highest at 26.67. So you're 1.9 away. It's not much. It's any given day. I like what you said, where Bieber has a lot of Ks historically against this team. So that should correlate again into this year with what we're seeing with these stats. Remember, we have a dumbed down. It's not dumbed down, but the offense there's less offense this year with a lot of variables have changed in the game. With that said, if we're seeing pitchers' numbers historically from last season and this season showing it could continue to favor that, we have to go with that. So I think with just a little bit, I grabbed out of what you said quickly was saying that Bieber can throw some Ks. Detroit doesn't have power. I go look on my end at some stats going into just last season, last 2 years, which remember the last 2 years is this baseball. It is this type of ball. It's this type of environment. If anything, it's dumbed down even more. So favor the pitchers when you can, go against the weaker offenses when you can. And I think that's just a basic checklist you get. You get Bieber versus a weaker offense in Detroit. I see it on paper. So I'm with you, man. I like what you see there.
Yeah, and then historically they hit 196 off Bieber. There's nobody hitting better than 300 off him. Cabrera's like right around there, but that's about what scares you in that lineup. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, you're right. Some days you can't just consistently say, I'm going against Detroit. You have to have a reason, and you can't do it every day because that's not success. But when you know that they're this bad, you pick your spots. And today feels like a good spot, batting 196 in their career against Bieber.
Yeah, and just one more thing I just checked from that fantasy world for those folks and gurus and exciting, fantasy players. One of these sites I like, they have Tigers down at 2.95 projected run total, lowest of the day. They're hitting 288 to the left side, 255 to the right side, not that great. And remember, they bring a lot of people from the right side of the plate, all right? Well, Bieber's allowing 298 to the right. It's good to see it below 300. When you really start nitpicking at it, it's actually not favoring the Tigers there at 298. So I like it. I like this a lot.
All right, brother. So that's one on the board. Give me yours.
So where I'm at is, and remember, I call this a holiday. It's failed a couple times. What holiday can you say every year, I love it? Isn't at some point you start getting annoyed of seeing family and things like that? So maybe that's what it was the last couple times when I tried. But I'm going at Taylor Hearn, and I'm taking the Astros. And here's the thing. So what I like here is what I did was I did first 5 innings minus 0.5. I got it at minus 120 earlier today at DraftKings. I don't think it's budged, so give it a shot there. I haven't looked in like 30 minutes, but here's why I think Astros will be able to take care of this in the first 5. It's not easy. It's not easy to said and done because Jose Urquidy, I always get the name wrong. He's not someone you can consistently rely on. But just remember one thing when it comes to Taylor Hearn historically. He's been lucky at times, but he gives up a lot of junk as well. So a lot of he gets a lot of walks, and that's where I think it can get dangerous. And going back just into just this season, Taylor Hearn is 11.6% walk rate. Okay, that's high. So anything above 10% is in our favor when you want to attack it. It's good stuff. And I just think a bit disciplined Astros team would be able to take advantage of that, or even if they're having struggles. So now, as a team, the Astros are 9.4% walk rate. So that's near that 10. I wish it was 10 and above. So that's top 9th in the MLB. But remember, 19.7% K rate as a team. So just to sum it up, the Astros are a disciplined offense this season. Whether you get it consistently a lot, that depends, right? We're just talking about what you get on paper. It's hard to correlate it game by game sometimes. But I think in a situation like this where they're facing Taylor Hearn, where this guy's definitely walking people, again, 11 point something percent. If you go just look at the box scores of Taylor Hearn this year, he's definitely walked last 3 games, 3 walks to the Angels, 3 walks to Kansas City, 3 walks to Atlanta. He did play Houston that last time, and he only had 1 walk, but he still allowed 5 hits and 4 earned runs and 1 home run. It's hard to come by home runs this year. He's been giving up home runs. He gave up 2 last game, and then the prior home run was against the Astros, who started that night against Seattle. I just think Taylor Hearn isn't consistent enough to not bet against, where you get someone like the Astros, and to me, it's one of those games where, look, 313 on base percentage, 324 WOBA, 184 ISO. Now, here's where I don't like it. 237 as a team batting average. But remember where we are this year. Batting averages are lower than overall what we're expected. But Taylor Hearn's batted balls in play, if I flip over, at 345. It's high. So this is a game where I'm going to argue you get progression, where I think Houston betters themselves. They come into this game, they're trying to get their tune-up done to their engine, let's call it. See, they bat 306 to the left, 331 to the right. And Taylor Hearn allows 351 to the right. That's atrocious. So like we said, 345 batted balls in play, 351 to the right side. Astros are known to hit from the right with their players. They hit 331. I forgot the number exactly how they hit. Sorry, let me straight. They're 306 to the left, 331 to the right. Taylor Hearn's lefty is 306, but remember, he gives up 351 to the right. To just sum this up, Taylor Hearn's susceptible to A or B or a combination of both. Walks and hits. If you get a combination of both, you're in favor. Last time against Houston, you didn't get the combo, but you got the hits, and they still gave up the runs. And he went, like I said, 4 runs given up that game. And I just think Taylor Hearn is too shady to trust. Now, on the other side, someone can argue, what about Urquidy? I get it. This season, not that great so far. His last outing, I think it wasn't too good. Now, just looking at this season's numbers, very bad on the strikeout side, okay? 13.5%. K. I would not be looking at that at all at any other given moment. But I think this is a scenario where he might be able to better himself, because here's the situation, okay? Last game, he got dinged up. He played Boston, the worst production of his season, 12 hits, no walks, though. That's the good thing, and I'm going to get to that. But only 1 strikeout. So Urquidy hasn't had that happen this season. He had 3 strikeouts against Minnesota, 3 strikeouts against Detroit, 6 against Toronto, 3 against Toronto the game prior to that, and then 2-2 to start the season off. Where did he just have 1 last season? That's his bad outing. That's where the numbers come down a little bit. But here's the great thing. He doesn't walk anybody this year. So you might say, well, hey, TekMunnee, it's just this year. When I filter going back to 2021 and include it with this year, he's still not walking anybody. It's a total of 4%. We added 100 and something innings onto this metric, and he only jumped 2% on the walk. So when you have a season like this season where you're already having trouble getting home runs to occur, you need to have the cherry on top if you get one, which is a man on base. If you get actually a ball that's hitted, ball in contact, you got to have the favor in there of having the guy on base. Urquidy's not putting it in there, and I just think that's a huge advantage. So I know on paper someone can say, look, he's not striking people out. Oh, his ERA is high. I'm going to argue it this year. Look, when you put in last year's numbers, he's 267 on the batted balls in play. That's the lowest of the slate of some of these pitchers we're going to talk about in this show. Now, this, again, combined to last year. I think this is a game where he has there's a stat out there. I forgot the exact acronym, XFERA or something like that. It's really high at like 6.38. I'll try to flash it up if I can on the fly. What that means is he's due for regression. And this is a perfect spot for him to regress. I think he has an opportunity at home against these Rangers to regress. Now, I don't just, again, write these Rangers off all the time. Like you said, you got to really pick your spots, and it's hard to do. But they're striking out at 23%. That's above that 20. So hopefully we can get Urquidy to do that usual throw a few Ks. And as a team, you know, you're getting some lower numbers out of Texas versus, remember what we said out of Houston, they were high. Well, 287 on base, 288 WOBA, 134 ISO, and 225 as a team. And just to touch base again, Houston was 313, 324, 184 to go over those. And Houston is hitting 41% as a team hard hit. Anything above 40 is great, especially in 2022 when it's really hard to get some of this baseball. And on that note, Texas is hitting about a percentage or two weaker than them. I just think to sum this up, the slight edge is going to be with Houston's offense, their consistency, and attacking Hearns. Again, A-B combination, or is it C, a combination of both, which is he gives up hits, he gives up a lot of walks. Can you get both? If so, Houston should take advantage of it. So I know I said a lot there, but to sum it up, attack Taylor Hearn with a decent Astros team, and Urquidy should be able to regress and not look so ugly. And that's why I'm on the Astros first 5-run line.
I like it, brother. And, you know, look at Hearn. His ERA in the high 5s, his expected ERA actually in the 7s. It's a guy that, you know, the Astros have a lot that they can attack you from. They have some of the power hitters from the left-hand side, but guess what? They hit lefties well. Alvarez hits lefties well. Tucker does. Altuve back in the lineup for the last week and a half has been a big factor in their succession too. We love Bregman. So I think there's a good opportunity here for the Astros to attack. And on the same with Urquidy, like you said, bad game against Boston, still got the dub. But the 2 games before that, 9 innings, no earned runs. You know, one got shortened because of rain. So there was some progression in his pitching. And I would argue with you there too and say that I think it's going to continue somewhat on the upward slope. He's probably an average MLB pitcher.
Right.
I think you'd say that. Taylor Hearn, way below average. So, I mean, you know, when their numbers all settle out, yeah, I'm with you. I like that pick today. Let's attack. Houston's one of those teams They know they're starting to tear it up, but they know they got a challenger in the Angels this year. So there's no letting up games in May. They're going to have to play. They're going to be in a tight race all year.
Right, right. And one more thing you reminded me, Hearn's giving up 351 to the right side of the plate. And we know the Astros he brought Altuve up. So they're bringing it. They're bringing it.
Yeah. Like it. Hey, as you attack Hearn, I'm going to attack one other with a bet today, and that's Spencer Watkins. When you go and look at the MLB arms for today, Taylor Hearn is about the third worst in WAR at about -0.1 on the year. Spencer Watkins is just a notch below. Actually, the lowest on the card today is Nathan Eovaldi, but that's a little volatile for me to attack. So I settled on Spencer Watkins. Yes, no Wander Franco today for the Rays, but they still got enough up and down that lineup. I think 2.5 is a lot. I'm not excited to take a 2.5, but when I look at this Rays lineup and I understand that they can run out the two lows or Lows, as they like to say, G-Man Choi's back. Arozarena has been red hot in the series, going 6 for 9. He's 4 for 7 in his career off Watkins. I think if we can just get a couple base runners here, I think the Rays are just a sneaky little lineup that makes a lot of contact. And then when you talked about earlier, they tend to hit home runs with men on base. That really helps get us that 2.5. I like the Tampa Bay Rays this afternoon to go over 2.5 against Spencer Watkins from the Orioles. Now, the Orioles are going to be juiced up. They brought up Adley Rutschman, who was the number 2 prospect in baseball prospectus coming into the season. I don't like Kluber. So I think this could be a high-scoring game overall. That's why I'm not going to take the money line. Just let's focus on the runs, get that money, and let's run.
I like this thought. So I'm going to end up having to tail something you did because it was hot last Sunday. It's sounding hot today. Spencer Watkins, my goodness, 84 innings pitched going into last year, only 12.5% K. But let's just talk about this year. So let me flip that around a little bit. I'm not expecting that to jump up too much. It's even worse. So this year, 30 innings pitched, 10.2% K rate. No good. That's not even MLB caliber to me. You got to be at least floating near 20 to be in contention to even have some threat on the mound. And remember, the good ones are at 25 and the stellars are 28 and above. So you're talking a huge differential here from what this dude's bringing to the plate, to the mound, and what he should be. 10.9% walk rate. That's the red flag. Above 10%. Hard hit percentage, again, in 2022 at 41.9%, not good. When we were doing metrics in all those juiced era years, basically to sum it up, we were going for people with above 40%. It was easy to come by. How is this guy doing 41.9 this year? That's not cool. And to supplement that, he's doing 1.5 HR per 9. But remember, HRs are down about 30 to 40%. Go check the exact number. That's a lot. Even if I'm being vague, 30 to 40, that's too big versus last season. If you combine last season, he's 2.0 something HR per 9. So he only dropped half. If you just do a little bit of math, this guy's not good. He must be still giving up home runs this year without me even going to dig in the box scores of the games versus the amount of innings he's pitched at 30. So that's just not cool. 280 batted balls in play. I can see that jumping up today. I'm just not feeling it. 11.4%. He's at xFIP at 5.76. That's nasty. So basically, not only are the numbers have we talked about that. Okay. So what I'll say is this: he's 1.5 HR per 9 this year, but he was 2 something last year. It's because the xFIP's at that high. He's gotten lucky. He's been lucky. Okay. Lucky. So that's exactly it. So I love your angle of the Rays going over 2.5 because I'm still worried about Kluber. I gave him faith last game, thinking, look, man, he's pitching in his whole career. He pitched in a hitter's park, so give him some leeway going in. Just forget all that junk because remember, today it's Baltimore. It's hot. You know how sticky it is up here. I actually have a relative in town this weekend from Dallas, and he keeps mumbling. It's like the weather back home, but it's worse. It's the weather back home, and it's worse, and he's sweating. And I'm like, that's what I tell people from Texas that have never been up here. You come up here in some summer Jersey, Northeast heat, it's disgusting. And we have that. I think the wind's blowing a couple miles an hour, but we'll take any wind blowing out this year. So I like it.
And it's blowing out.
God, I hate going for totals this year because of what we've talked about. But this is a game where you got to expect Spencer Watkins to allow it and Tampa Bay to take advantage of it. I like it. I like what you're seeing there.
Yeah, a couple last points on that, blowing out 10 miles an hour out to right center today.
Okay, it's stronger than I heard then. Yep.
Yeah, and listen, Louds might not be in the lineup. Brandon and they didn't put him in yet, but the Rays last 4 games 8-6, 6-8. They're scoring runs, and Spencer Watkins, as you said, in the month of May, 12 innings, 12 earned runs. So we're starting to see his, he's gotten a little lucky, but we're starting to see hitters catch up to him.
Right.
I just feel like the Rays are swinging a good set of bats right now. This isn't a good pitcher. I think we could get an over, but we'll attack the Rays lineup for sure today and attack Spencer Watkins. So you got another one for us, Tech? Anything you're just leaning? You don't have to make it official.
I was looking at a little bit at the Twins earlier.
Okay.
The Twins money line. I don't know what it's at now, but I think when I looked, it was maybe 115 or something. And what caught me there was just this, and then what made me stay off. Okay. So, and it made me feel, all right, I'm going to like Astros a little bit more. So I was like, let me take that one. Now, what I'll try to end up doing is after I talk this one out is, do I like the one I'm about to talk out, or do I like this Rays over 2.5 more? Maybe I'll lay a second official bet and tail something here. But I like the Twins here, and I'm trying to pull up where we were. And basically, it's Brady Singer and his history against these Twins bats.
Yeah.
Now, I know Correa is not in the lineup, but it's all right. I think he's batting
No Buxton either.
And 3 for 6 is good, but wait till I go over some of these other guys. They've just seen him well. And back in the day, I might not just jump on that, but I think when we're playing a type of baseball this year where it's really getting men making contact on balls and getting them placed where the outfielders aren't, that's what the MLB wants to see. Getting these people walked and shifted over without just a bomb and just that tactical baseball, I'm going to call it. I think it's critical to look at head to head here and say, look, Arias, 13 at bats, 4 hits. So, 308 average, but 357 on base. These guys are getting on. Polanco, 16 for 6, but 2 home runs, 1 walk. Again, 412 on base. Kepler, 4 hits, 2 home runs, 12 at bats, 333, 429 on base. Larnack, 4 for 3, 750, 800 on base. Garlic, these guys have been walked out of 2 or a few at bats. So it's just easy for me to look at and say, man, there's just some stellar history here. And I might say historically, in baseball, remember to be 300 average and above, you're a Hall of Famer, right? So technically in baseball, these averages need to come mediate or regress down to this 200 number. So it's like, all right, all these guys they've been hitting them too well. This is a game where he's due, quote unquote. And I hate that. But how could you be due in a season? How could the offense be due when the history, how could the pitcher be due here when the history is just so screaming at you is my thing. And that's why I don't always believe in that he's due, she's due, or the team's due. I just think in this case, the angle is with the Twins. Now, the reason why I laid off that, and one quick thing with Singer as well, the problem here is if you look at his numbers just this year, he is striking out an elite 30%. Now, it's 12 innings only, and that's where I start getting worried. And I was putting more favor on the head-to-head history because I couldn't get a gauge out of what he's doing this year. Because remember, the Royals, I think, sent him back to the minors or something and brought him around. So he's kind of just filling in if I'm not trying to guess too quick, just jumping. So there's an uncertainty there. So I would have to also think there that the Twins are going to take advantage with the history on where Singer is in his career or mindset right now. Now, at the same time, Bailey Ober had groin injury and was out for about a month or so, right? So he hasn't been pitching. Now, when he was just doing this rehab outing, he gave up a lot of runs, and that had me worried, but he didn't walk anybody. So I don't know. I didn't get the follow-up. Was he out there specifically maybe him and his staff wanted him to work on something and they didn't care about whatever else happens? I didn't get to read any reports, and maybe that's why runs were let up. Or did he let up runs because he's still not ready? That's kind of why I was getting nervous. And they still said, well, they're throwing Singer at us. If he was supposed to be great, he would have been here all year. So you could go back and dig into numbers and head-to-heads and left and rights, and we can waste time doing all that. At the end of the day, I think the Twins have a little bit of an advantage because the Twins head-to-head have taken advantage of Singer. But I feel stronger with the Astros knowing that I can argue or Quidai is going to have an argument to regress today, whereas the Twins and the Royals, both pitchers, I really don't know what game they're bringing to the mound today. They're both coming off unique scenarios in their career right now for this season. So I lean with the Twins winning the game, but I feel strong with the Astros. That's why I'm there. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I like the Rays over 2.5 more or if I like the Twins money line more. So that's something I like to take off. But again, to close that shop up, I think Twins to win again, because I think they just beat them twice down there in Kansas. I think I like it. And remember, the wind's coming in 10 miles an hour. So might keep some of the offense tamed already in a regressed year. And again, if that says anything, then give me the offense that has a history. So that's why I like the Twins.
So it's interesting. I dug into Singer a little bit today before you even picked this game. We didn't talk ahead of time. And Singer, last year he had a near 5 ERA through a full season. A guy that you could almost consider a gas can with that type of ERA. We were attacking him at times last year, and then he comes in this year, lets up like 4 in 3 innings on opening day or the day after, and they just send him down. Well, actually, what they do is they put him in the bullpen for a couple of outings, then send him down. Now he comes up, balls on fire in the start this week. Okay, he shuts down the White Sox, goes like 10 Ks, like 35 DraftKings points. Got it. But is that really Brady Singer? I asked myself that too when I was looking at that game today.
Right.
My only fear is no Bucks and no Correa. That's it. That's my only fear.
Right.
But outside of that, I think the Twins they're a sneaky hitting team. I think they're in the top 10 in a lot of the advanced metrics like ISO and WRC plus, weighted runs created. And I mean, they're a team that I think it's surprising. They surprise you on certain days. Right. So I'm with you.
Yeah, and like you said, as a team, now this probably includes Correa. I'm not sure if this does include Correa being in, but on base percentage, they're top 8, 326. WOBA, you have them at 324. These are stellar numbers. That's top 8. ISO, like you said, 156. And you take what you can this year, right? Because it's hard to come by. That's top 11th in the league. Remember, first is Angels at 188. You used to get teams batting ISO over 200. That's what's crazy because of the way the game was before versus what we have last season and this season. So you got to remember that. And as a team, Minnesota 40.4% hard hit. That's great because above 40, we talked about it. You want to see it. 9.8% walk rate. So remember, 10% and above as a team. That's discipline right there. And they're almost near that 20 as a strikeout as a team. They're at 21.3. So you want to see 20 and below as a team. They're almost there, and that's great. And that correlates to what you were saying, how they're a sneaky good offensive metric team, and they are. That's just, that just shows it there. That's kind of why I like to be. You know what? There were so many uncertainties about the game. I would feel foolish if I took it and lost. So now that's, me doing my mental analysis. And then I thought, I feel a little bit safer with the Astros, even though, look, anything can happen. And that's where I had coming into the show with, Astros as my official and Twins as a lean.
No, I like it. And then I looked at the lineup today. Twins have 6 hitters that have faced Singer. They're batting 20 of 52, which comes out to 385. So the 6 hitters in the lineup, all of them have a hit off Singer in their career. The 3 that haven't played against him, seen him, like Gary Sanchez. I don't mind that matchup. Miranda, like guys that just haven't had a chance to see him yet. I think you got a real good shot here. And you're looking at, I'm lining this up, you're getting plus odds on the Twins, so it's not bad. Plus 100.
Okay, I didn't check. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And I think it's people probably expect, our team's not going to sweep, stuff like that. But I'm looking at numbers, including last year for Singer, because that'll open up 141 innings. He's 23% K rate. So when you got a team like the Twins, it's you might get some Ks, you might not. Depends on who's having the better day. Remember, we want to see everything around 20. So 8.5% walk rate, almost near the 10. Now, he was a ground ball pitcher at 50% if you include last year, and I hate that. You need to see the ground ball below 38. When it's at 50, that means even if you get lucky, he might give up double plays. So that worries me. But now remember, 347 batted balls in play, including last year. Now, just this year, Singer's getting up 347 to the left and 315 to the right. So there's a lot of areas where you can say, Singer probably should be able to get hit up on against by the Twins, but I think it's one of those games where I'd rather feel it out to see what these two pitchers are going to bring, because it is one of their, it's a game that supported them as Ober's coming back, and Singer probably is fighting to stay on the rotation, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Two last things we'll hit here before we get out here. Always like to talk about a dog. One dog I would look at today and lean. I'm not sure I'm going to plug it in yet, But the one where I see with the best value is actually the local team here, the Philadelphia Phillies. Zach Eflin just came back after a 2-week hiatus, pitched a really solid game against the San Diego Padres. Went 6 innings, 1 earned run, ended up losing because the Phillies can't score. But with Bryce Harper coming back in the lineup, prior when he was in, they were open, right? Today, Gonsolin, righty, stacked that lineup, winds blowing out a little bit to right. You got a hot Citizens Bank Park, Harper, Schwarber. They can just hit you hard from the left side. We always like Castellanos from whatever side they throw a pitcher at. I think the Phillies could be live today. You're getting plus 115, plus 120 in some markets. It's always hard to sweep a team. We saw the Phillies win 3 straight against LA, out in LA before this recent homestand here. I think there's some value in the Phillies. They're probably my favorite dog. One other thing, look at the Brewers. Minus 250 is a ton. I mean, try and play around with the run line. Try and play around with maybe the first 5, but Peralta's on fire. His 3.5 ERA is met with a 2.03 FIP.
Yep.
The best 2 batters on the Nationals, Bell and Soto, 2 for 15 in the career off Peralta. They just don't handle him very well. He's striking out 12 per 9. His K rate's up in the upper 20s. So we really like Peralta. And I just got to figure out ways I want to plug that Brewers in. Maybe parlay it with something high. I don't like taking straight 250. I think that's just too much for me to put on the line. But they are, I mean, I looked at all the numbers saying they have the highest FanGraph winning percentage of anyone, almost 70%.
I like that Brewers angle. I have a suggestion. I can make a DraftKings for the folks that can have that total. First 5 innings run line -1 and -125.
That's not bad.
It's tough because you gotta win by the 1 in the first 5. But the angle is, look, if you like what DG just said and you look at your own homework and you like it, then you're expecting the Brewers to pound through, right? So it's like at that point, it's like, okay, I'm expecting to win by a lot, so I'm going to take them. And you can at least get something and work with their -125. And just projection wise, I think Brewers 5.38 run total for this game, third high for today's game, third highest in the whole slate. They bat 329 to the right, and Sanchez allows 373 to the right. It's just pretty nasty.
And his K rate is under 5 per 9.
Right.
It's one of your areas to attack. I think he's like 16 or 15 K rate. It's bad.
And I'm pulling it up on the fly here. You're right. It's 15% K rate. Going back to last season, you're absolutely right. Just not good. And what 7% swinging strike rate. So he's not even throwing anything these guys can swing at. It's just like a bunch of crap. But you do get 52% ground ball rate.
That's it.
I'm gonna give that maybe because maybe he is a ground ball pitcher a little bit. But also maybe 2022 is allowing some of that to jump up, right? But at the end of the day, what I do like seeing is I don't like looking at ERA, but I'll make an argument for something here that he's a 4.97 ERA going back to last year, but his Sierra, which I like to keep an eye on, like a projection, is at 4.83. So there isn't like a variation. So he's going to be consistent. They're expecting him to be consistent to who is Aaron Sanchez. So I like the Brewers here to hit up on Aaron Sanchez. And if we're saying and arguing that Peralta's the stud and he's going to show up that way today, then you're basically saying Peralta's in control. He's going to dumb the offense down. But at the same time, the Brewers are going to take advantage of Aaron Sanchez. So they'll win the first 5. That's my argument and why I say, you know what, maybe Brewers -1, first 5 -125 at DraftKings.
Thanks for pointing that one out.
Yeah, I like that. I like where you're headed.
Yeah, I mean, the Brewers have scored 12 runs in the first 2 games in the series. I don't see them slowing down again. They had Corbin yesterday who, he's definitely a guy we like to attack, but he's been better of late. But they did get 5 off him. Kutch led off with a homer. They've just been swinging well. And I think, their team, they're 26-14. They're up there at the tops in the NL. They're just steady as they go. So, they attack from the left. You just mentioned it. You got Wong, you got Tellez, you got Yelich. So they can really, they're an adaptable lineup. So I like that -1. I'm going to plug that one in for sure.
That looks good. And look, Milwaukee as a team is 9% walk rate. So that's good. Remember, anything 10% as a team and above is like, hey, we're disciplined. We're here. And Sanchez with that 8% walk rate. So that you should be able to see get a walk or 2. And hopefully what happens is the Brewers then take advantage of that. Because remember, once he walks someone, it's not like he's throwing swinging strikes to get people to chase. It's just like he might just this it's hard to project what could happen, but don't if you're watching the game and you start seeing walks develop and things happen, you heard it here. It's like, wow, they were breaking that down. That's what you get. 317 on base, 322 WOBA, 170 ISO. Not bad. Remember, this year it's hard to get a hard hit percentage at 40.2%. So I look, if you're telling me Peralta's hot and we're expecting that to happen, I like it. Look, Peralta's 14% swinging strike rate going back to last year and 29% hard contact, 33% K rate. That's too high. That's so high. I forgot he's that high. I had a memory. I should have had that memorized. I try to know the pitchers that are above 28. I don't know why that one slipped my mind. I know Bieber's up there, but he's up there. That's too high. So again, to sum it up, you're getting your angle here is Peralta's going to keep the Nats offense dumbed down just enough, let's say even on a bad outing. Dumbed down just enough, but you're expecting the Brewers to take advantage of all of Sanchez's weakness just enough to win that first 5. Yep. And then we don't care what happens at the end of who cares for the rest of the game. And it's too expensive anyway.
Well, you're getting the Brewers bullpen and they ain't scoring anyway.
True. Right.
Yeah, with Hader and Williams back there. But dude, good stuff. A lot of good stuff on the line today. I'm excited. I'm definitely jumping on the Astros. We're playing the Guardians, and then a few other bets we threw out there. It's definitely leans that you guys should consider, especially if you're already on that side.
I like it.
Awesome. So this is the MLB Smoke Shop. We're starting Sunday ball. The pitches are getting thrown out here in 15 minutes. We already had an early game tee off with the Cardinals and Pirates. Whatever about that one, we always know Cardinals hit the Pirates. So that one's. We don't have to worry about that one, but we got about 13 more to choose from today. It's going to be fun. Going to be great. We're going to be here every Sunday from the Heat Ratio Network. I'm Gloeck. That's Tech. You got anything else for the fellas out there? Well, not just fellas, anyone out there.
Anyone, I'll say this, that Oilers 60-minute line at plus 145 for some evening NHL action. Because here's the deal. It's the NHL playoffs. They go both ways, right? It's hard to get sweeps, but Oilers are playing really – and I'm a Flames fan because of Johnny Gaudreau in South Jersey, right? But remember, the Oilers are playing hot with Connor McDavid, and they're getting that first game at home. So it's hard for me to say, oh, they're going to lose. I think Oilers plus 145 at BetMGM. I saw it in 60 minutes, something to take a look at. So if I win some baseball money, I might throw it over there.
I love it. And
so that's about it.
NBA, I lean the Mavs today, minus the 2. I might play the money line. We'll see. Okay. We've seen Golden State, when they're motivated, they'll steal one on the road, game 1 in Memphis. But when they're not motivated, and I'm not saying they won't be today, they've lost by 55. So you got to figure out who's the more motivated team. To me, it's the Mavericks. To me, it's Luka. We've seen them play at home. I don't know if they've lost a home game yet. I think one to the Jazz early on. But that's about it. They're really solid at home. They play better defense. They shoot the better 3 ball. They should have won game 2. They're probably a little angry. Season's over if they lose this one. I do lean Mavs in this one, and for them to make it a series. So you got some NBA, I got some NBA, you got some NHL.
I love it. Let's stay green on that then.
All right. Until next week, or maybe we'll even pop up in a day this week too to talk some MLB bets. Thanks for following. We had a lot of people check in, and we appreciate that. As always, Heat Ratio going live. I'm Dave. That's Tech. Until next week, we are the Smoke